Strange carcasses that wind up out of nowhere, ancient monsters re-emerging, and creepy creatures.
Holy shit! What the hell is that?
What is happening?
It's almost like the world is hiding secrets. But sometimes they pop up when you least expect, and today we're giving you a glimpse into the unknown.
Look at Rodney. Rodney's just filling this out. This is a giant.
A resident in Glenmore Park, Australia complained that their lawn was losing its color. When the lawn care specialists arrived on the scene, they found an unexpected problem. A giant lawn worm had taken residence under the resident's lawn. Appearing more like a python than a worm, it had been eating away at the roots of the grass. The specialists admitted that it was the first time they had seen a worm of such proportions. Well, the next time your lawn looks a little off.
They eat away at the roots of the plant.
Bulbous menace. In 2023, a couple of Japanese fishermen found a strange creature on a beach. It was bulbous and pulsating creepily. The fishermen felt mischievous and tried to feed it a soda, but the creature wouldn't have any of it, and threw our large spurts of a liquid on the fishermen. What even was this? Nothing like this has ever been seen before. Experts are still trying to figure out the identity of this creature. The best theory is that it's some sort of a jellyfish. Mutated bee. A driver in St. Lucia found a bizarre creature on the roadside. There is no telling what it was. It looked like a giant honeybee with a sting on the side. It seemed deformed as well. There were no visible eyes on the creature. It is as if its whole head was missing. Netizens had no idea what it was either. Some believe that this was actually the result of a scientific experiment that went awry. Allegedly, the creature escaped or was thrown out, but didn't survive long enough. And now, its identity is forever a mystery. Mole rat!
Holy shit! What the hell is that?
What is happening?
A carpenter in Kenya discovered a fascinating creature in his yard. It looked like a rat, but just wasn't one. It had no eyes at all. Looks like it only depended on its smelling powers to hunt for food. Also, unlike a rat, its two sharp teeth were in its lower jaw. However, the mystery was solved once the video was uploaded online. Netizens were quick to point out that it was a naked mole rat that is abundantly found in Kenya.
Holy shit! What the hell is that?
What is happening?
Poison bugs.
Maybe, I guess the males.
You'd think creepy crawlies only live in the woods, but they could be out there, crawling right under your nose. Harris Smith is a wildlife explorer in Georgia. Once he decided to clean up his backyard for a makeover. He found that he wouldn't even need to go beyond home to find adventure. As soon as he picked up that misplaced sheet, he found a stick bug family beneath it. Careful with these ones, Harris. These stick bugs can spray poison too. Luckily, Harris knew this too, and thus we got to see this video.
Whoa, look at all these guys.
What lies beneath? The number of strange sightings in the world just keeps increasing by the day. In this instance, a farmer in Angola found some bizarre-looking things while digging. They were white in color, soft to the touch like mushrooms, but looked like coral reefs. Online experts took out their magnifying glasses to identify these things, but they couldn't come up with any solution. Maybe these were food deposits by insects living underground. Or maybe they were a type of underground mushrooms that we are just discovering. They could even be ancient remains of something, but there's no saying what these things actually are. Alien moth. Go to Bali, they said. It'll be fun, they said. Well, seeing as this abomination lives in Bali, I'm fine right where I am. This creature was discovered by a tourist who'd returned after an entire day of sightseeing to this. Naturally, the tourist was petrified because he didn't really know what this was. Some sort of tentacled monster or an incredibly grotesque spider? Turns out, this filthy creature is actually a moth. A Creatonodos gangus, to be scientifically accurate. These appendages are its scent glands, used to release mating pheromones. Amazing. As if this creature wasn't enough on its own, it's also reproducing.
Loh, mangkeret barang ya?
Ganisha's Return. In October 2023, residents of a remote village in Thailand sighted a strange creature. It had the torso of a human being, but the head of an elephant. In Hindu mythology, the god Ganisha is known to have the head of an elephant and the body of a male human. However, netizens were not impressed with the theory. They blamed genetic experimentation on the existence of this creature. Whatever the case may be, the villagers probably had a hard time sleeping after a discovery like this, especially when they realized it had escaped. Cthulhus Return. A farmer in Brazil didn't know what to do after he saw this in his farmyard. On 24th September 2024, he dug up a ditch there, and on the next day, a creepy monster had occupied it. Netizens were divided on the identity of this monster. Some people claiming to be marine experts said that it was an octopus that walks from pond to pond in search of prey. However, this one appeared to have more than 8 tentacles. Looking at its creepy face, it was actually Cthulhu. It looks like H.P. Lovecraft knew a lot more than he let on. Stranger Things. You should skip this part if you are weak in the stomach, because this was spotted inside a sewage pipe. It wasn't just a gross sewage lump. It was twitching and breathing, so it's some sort of a living creature. But what even was this? Although the sewage workers who found this were confused, netizens were quick to point out the truth. This was a colony of Tubifex worms, and they were all jumbled up in that disgusting lump. These worms don't need oxygen to survive. Therefore, they are found in the most reclusive places on Earth. Giant rat. Citizens of a Mexican town weren't expecting to find anything extraordinary when cleaning the sewers, but what they did find exceeded their expectations giantly. They found the frozen carcass of a giant rat. It was filthy with muck. The residents began washing it down. The media arrived soon after too, and can be seen taking pictures. This definitely wasn't a hoax. God knows how it was made, but it is quite clear that scientific experimentation resulted in a rat growing to this humongous size. Pine processionary. Ever feared a caterpillar crawling over you? Imagine if it was a whole procession of them. Don't worry, these caterpillars are just moving to another tree. But also, don't underestimate these little monsters. Their body is lined with teeny tiny bristles. A single touch of those, and you'll be whimpering in pain. Itching, allergic problems, and irregular breathing are just some of the perks you get with the pain. So, the next time you ever see these pine processionary caterpillars, be sure to keep a safe distance. Mini Orionopters. A forest explorer in Australia encountered a weird bird in his adventure there. It looked like a mini ornithopter from the Dune movies. The explorer got scared that he had encountered a small monster of some kind. However, when he uploaded the video online, he was told about the identity of the bird. It was a lyrebird, and here it was just doing its mating dance to attract a female lyre. However, dancing isn't the only talent that this bird has. It can even mimic sounds, like a camera shutter. a car alarm, and even a chainsaw. Bubblegum frog.
Oh my goodness.
It is a water balloon. No, it is a wad of chewing gum. Oh no, it is a turtle frog. Soft and pudgy. This is one of the few recorded sightings of this frog. With its tiny hands and legs, it can dig up to 5 feet into the ground, and unlike other frogs, it does not have a tadpole stage, and is born with a full set of limbs. Unique to Western Australia only, it is too small to be sighted on normal days. It only comes out from its deep trench when it is looking for a mate, which seems to be the case here.
It's one of the most unique looking frogs you will ever see.
Snoozing gators.
So that if it freezes over, they can still breathe. But just an absolute amazing survival technique.
The Charlotte River Swamp Park is an adventure park in North Carolina. When the caretaker arrived one icy morning, he witnessed a strange spectacle. Few peculiar-looking objects were protruding out of the surface of the frozen swamp there. When he went closer, he realized something mind-boggling. They were alligator snouts. The alligators had pushed them out in order to breathe, while the rest of their body got frozen underwater. It is their mechanism to fight against the cold weather. They slow down their metabolism and just hibernate in this icy bed. Pretty amazing.
This is how they survive. They know it's gonna freeze, so what they do, they poke their snouts through, they go into that hibernation so they can breathe.
Alien tail. A tourist in a Madagascar forest encountered the weirdest thing of his life. Something was wriggling on the forest floor. It looked scary, and the tourist thought it might just launch itself onto him. When he uploaded the video online, it created a lot of buzz. Some called it an alien artifact of some kind. However, an animal expert pointed out that it was just the tail of a leaf gecko that is abundantly found in Madagascar. Apparently, shedding the tail is a defense mechanism. It seems to have worked. The gecko itself is nowhere to be found. Fishy banana. A man in Kentucky just wanted to eat a banana, but when he got one, he realized there was something fishy going on. A lump was moving inside the banana, so he sat down and began recording the spectacle. What happened next was nothing short of a horror movie scene. A hole began appearing in the banana, and then the banana peel began tearing off. Suddenly, a spider jumped out of the banana, and there is no telling how it got trapped inside in the first place. But who cares? This is practically everyone's worst nightmare. Underground gin. In 2022, when a cave collapsed in Jordan, a couple of concerned citizens went to check it, but what they found there made them wish they hadn't. When one of the checkers picked up a loose rock, a creepy, dark face stared back at him. The creature had a small head and evil eyes. Some said it was a djinn, others said it was Gog and Magog, finally here to wreak havoc, while others chimed that it was probably a demon from the underground. Whatever the case may be, cave exploring isn't a safe adventure anymore. Misplaced slug. This just can't be real. In September 2019, a homeowner in California was digging out a tree root, and in there, he found something extremely unexpected. I am sure you must have seen a lot of weird things, but who could have thought that slugs would inhabit tree roots as well? Its size was enormous as well. Apparently, a sewerage line ran underneath the tree. The roots of the tree broke into the line, and the ugly slug had climbed up into its roots. Sleeping dragon. Oh boy, and this is why you shouldn't go digging for treasures. You just might unearth a calamity. In 2019, 2 Portuguese farmers were digging a supposed site for a hidden treasure. But just a few feet down, and they lost all their appetite for lost treasures. They found the head of a dragon in the shaft. Looks like the monster went into hibernation once and didn't wake up again. But did you know dragons are known to guard treasures and gold? That means they were digging in the right place, if only they had continued digging. Mini monster. From a distance, it looks like there's some sort of a mini monster perched on the tree, but as you come closer, it's clearly an insect. But what kind? By the stance, I could tell it was a praying mantis, so I dug a little deeper. And here's the thing, this is a Duroplites praying mantis. It's more commonly known as the dead leaf mantis because, well, look at it. It'd have you fooled within seconds. It's a good thing they live in Asia, because while they're definitely harmless, seeing them when you're out in the woods alone would be for a mini heart attack. Basilisks return. A couple of farmers in Vietnam were digging a hole in the fields, but what they found made them rethink farming altogether. A huge python was coiled up in the ditch, and it had just begun uncoiling itself. Looks like the farmers disturbed its brumation cycle. If you don't know what that is, it's basically like how bears hibernate in winters, except in brumation, the animal stays awake to slow down its metabolism. It's a good thing the snake wasn't really in the mood to tussle, because judging by its size, it could have booked a whole winter feast with those men. Demonic cave. In 2023, an explorer made a video of some caves in Latin America. The man saw a huge demonic creature looking out from one of the passages of the cave. Apparently, it was living underground. If that's true, it would confirm our fears. Because if there's one demonic creature down there, then there are plenty more. And if all those strange creatures decided to pop out, who knows what will happen. Whatever the case, the cave explorer decided to not go on such adventures anymore. Who knows what he might find if he visits again? Lizard scorpion. Let us hope we don't encounter this creature while visiting a forest. A couple of banana farmers in Ecuador found a creepy crawler on their plantation. The creature just couldn't be categorized by experts. It had the tail of a lizard, the face of an alligator, and the legs of a scorpion. Looks like a scientist thought the world could use more unique creatures, so he decided to make a new one, since that's the only way to explain something like this. Bashan squid. A beachgoer in South Africa wasn't hoping to encounter this on his beach trip. It looked like a squid, but it had clams as shoes. This didn't seem like an accident. Social media was puzzled when this video was posted online, and marine experts were clueless. They just couldn't figure out the reason why a squid was wearing shoes. A netizen joked that it was probably going for a fashion show or something. It was just plain bizarre, is all that can be said about it. Digger's nightmare. A couple of friends in Russia were hunting for treasures using a metal detector, but what they found was beyond their wildest dreams. They began digging when their metal detector pinged at a particular spot. They did find a metal bangle all right, but the detector said that there was still something down there. As they kept digging, they found the unlikeliest of things. It was the carcass of a tiny alien. Somehow, it was still preserved in the ground. Maybe that's because alien bodies are different from human bodies, which wouldn't last long like this. Tubifex worms. 15 years ago, an anonymous source uploaded a video on social media. They claimed to have found the video from a secret medical facility. Supposedly, it was a video of a weird creature which was found in the sewers of North Carolina. The creature in the video was just disgusting. But actually, it wasn't one creature, but a horde of small creatures called Tubifex worms. These worms can stay in the remotest of places with the least amount of oxygen, and as you can see, are pretty creepy to watch. White predator. Looks can be pretty deceiving, especially when it comes to animals. For example, look at this beautiful white fish. It is found in underground Mexican cave systems. This fish doesn't even have eyes. It uses the skin to detect light. It likes the darkness only as it doesn't want to be seen by other fish. But don't pity it just yet. It is the apex predator of the underground cave system. and hides in the darkness, lying in wait to hunt other fish. It is the great white shark of its area, so to speak, and other fish don't even know about its existence. Bizarre object. Hey, what? What even is this? In September 2023, an anonymous source uploaded this video on social media. A round object with a smooth surface was moving on the ground. When the person picked it up, it had nothing below it to help it move. How was it even moving then? The person picked it up and put it into a water jar, and there it appeared to have lights inside it. I have no idea what it is, but if you do, let me know in the comments. Giant anteater. Well, here is a creature you rarely come across, which is why a tourist in South America thought he was seeing an alien animal at first, but it is just a giant anteater. It forages in open areas and rests in more forested habitats. It feeds primarily on ants and termites, using its foreclaws to dig them up and its long, sticky tongue to collect them. This animal is unfortunately on the vulnerable list of animals that can go extinct because their habitat is getting damaged, which is a shame because if it weren't for them, we'd be dealing with ant infestations all the time. Sleeping armadillo. Now look what we got here. A tourist in Paraguay found a couple of paws coming out of a patch of soil. When he prodded one of them, voila, an armadillo just jumped out of the ground. Armadillos dig into the ground for various reasons, including burrowing for a shelter and looking for food. But in this case, it just wanted to save itself from the weather. Maybe it was even taking a nap in its makeshift bed. The curiosity of the tourist disturbed its sleep. Daddy Longlegs. Imagine looking at an ugly, scary bush on a cliff. It has black strands. You prod on it with a stick, and out come spiders. Hundreds and thousands of them, which is weird enough since this only happens sometimes. Well, these are daddy longlegs, which, unlike some arachnids, form groups when it's incredibly dry outside to minimize water loss. Their cluster also helps them ward off predator, which, I mean, just look at him. This man might be crazy, but most predators and humans wouldn't come near an inch of that. Unlikely hibernation. If you thought only bears hibernate in winter, take a look at this. In 2013, researchers from Duke University made an astounding discovery. They were exploring a forest floor in Madagascar. They were searching for a unique species of frogs. When they dug up a likely-looking lump in the ground, they found something totally unexpected. It was a small, furry animal sleeping in its burrow. Curious about what it could be, they dug it out, and it was a lemur. It is the first case of primates hibernating in winter, and the researchers totally forgot about frogs. Bruiting turtles. A farming family in the Philippines found a strange sight when they were digging for a well, just 2 feet beneath the ground. They found this, a huge number of turtles stacked on top of each other. They were surprised at what they had found, but then some expert enlightened them about this turtle habit called brumation. In winters, turtles dig 2 feet into the ground and go into hibernation, except they're often awake and just conserve their energy. And it looks like the family found one jam-packed hole filled with them. Wriggling eels. When a man went fishing, he caught a strange creature in his net. The creature fell on the ground and started wriggling in circles. But do not be afraid of this creepy scene if you see one. This is just an eel wriggling and knotting on land. Eels are fascinating creatures. They can use knotting techniques with their bodies to catch prey. They can also use it to escape from inside the stomachs of predators. Well, it's good since seeing this certainly makes your stomach churn. Dragon's Lair. Hold your breath, because a dragon is coming. Sounds impossible until you take a look at this. Apparently, this was captured by an anonymous mountain climber in Java, Indonesia. He'd heard rumors about a ferocious creature living up there, but didn't realize he'd wind up running into a live dragon. Now that we think about it, we think dragons have never existed, but all those stories must have been inspired from somewhere. What if dragons existed all this time, and we're simply living too far up in remote places for us to know? Otter Hurry. Oh my god, an anonymous user uploaded a video on social media. He had a strange encounter that he wanted to share. A set of weird-looking hands were trying to reach out to this uploader. The hands were tiny and scary. They were trying to get hold of the food in the uploader's hand. Finally, it did manage to grab the food and revealed its face. It was just an otter doing silly things, but its hands really looked creepy, scrambling for food. Hellish Hand. When something like this pops up on the beach, you know life's really taking a turn for the worse. After all, what even is our life without a little threat of the apocalypse? The person who discovered this genuinely thought this was some sort of alien appendage, might have been left behind to rot. But is that really the case? Honestly, we don't know. Some say it could be a marine creature's appendage. But then, where's the rest of the creature? Something really doesn't add up. Priceless Treasure. A man digging for a camp in Georgia found a most unusual jar. The jar had tiny pouches with little metal particles. He did not know what to make of it. He uploaded the video online, and that is when the mystery of the jar was revealed by netizens. It was a Civil War-era jar. It had gunpowder, and an unknown soldier had buried it to keep the gunpowder dry. Viewers marveled at the professionalism of the soldier. It was a pretty priceless treasure indeed. An unthinkable find. Once in a while, there comes a scene in your life that you just can't explain. A villager in Brazil heard some disturbance outside his window. When he came out to see, there was a creature lurking beneath his window. At first, he thought it was a car or a dog, but when he got nearer, his hair stood on end. It was neither a cat, nor a dog, or a fox, but it had sharp teeth. It was snarling at the resident, and instead of paws, it had webbed feet. It was definitely something a mad scientist created. Sneaky Gator. What else can you expect when you are living in Florida? After the sewer outside his home became clogged, a resident stepped out to check. When he leaned down to see what it was a freaking alligator. It is a marvel that the gator did not dash towards the man when it saw him. Well, it's probably because the gator was pretty full. If it weren't, we'd be seeing this video in a whole different light. And while most of us think it's incredibly scary to come across a gator right outside your home, I have to say, this is probably one of the tamest Florida experience. Weird lobster. In 2021, a beachgoer in Miami found a strange creature. It had claws of a lobster, but was otherwise quite unrecognizable. The person theorized that it could be a lobster born with a birth defect. However, netizens called it a hoax and said somebody just removed the shell from a lobster and threw it into the ocean. However, with all the strange things appearing from the oceans in recent times, anything is possible, and it could even be a mutated animal made in a laboratory. Sun spider. Oh boy, here is something that will make your skin crawl. A man in Texas was having a sound sleep when he heard some disturbance from below his pillow. When he put his hand in, this came out. It was this creepy crawler. It looks like a hybrid between a spider and a scorpion. But the fun part is, it is neither of those. They are commonly known as sun spiders, but their correct name is Solifugae. And contrary to its scary appearance, they are not poisonous in any way. Maybe you could even pet one if you like creepy crawlers. Siren Alarm. A couple was taking a vacation in Iceland. When the wife decided to record the surroundings for memories, she found something strange in the water. Upon zooming in, she got a big shock. A face was staring back at her from behind the rocks on the clear water. It was a siren for sure, and it looked like it had located its next target. Now if you're wondering why there hasn't been much hubbub, of course, the couple remained anonymous and never revealed exactly where in Iceland this happened. I'd withhold information too if I realized these creatures exist outside storybooks. Kurama Arise. Looks like Kurama from Naruto spawned in real life, and in greater glory too. Sighted by a Japanese resident in a forest in Hokkaido, this Kurama looked majestic. It seemed excited about something as it pranced around on a spot in the forest. However, it suddenly stopped its dance and just vanished. Some netizens called it a hoax and said it was CGI, but then they couldn't explain why the light of the creature was getting reflected by the trees. It definitely was the nine-tailed Kurama, and maybe soon we will get to see the other tailed creatures too. The Naga. A tourist in India unearthed what should have remained a secret. As he was walking through a forest in a remote part of the country, he stumbled upon a strange sight on the forest floor. A half-human, half-serpent creature was lying on the forest floor. It looked as if it was singing a chant, but it was definitely the Naga. In Hindu mythology, it is a deity that is associated with water and fertility. They are often depicted as protective guardians of treasure, wisdom, or hidden knowledge. Who knows, there might even be a hidden treasure in that forest. Open discussion. On May 5th, 2021, citizens of Hubbard Woods, Illinois experienced something incredibly strange. When residents complained about a pungent smell coming from their forest, the police came to investigate. What they found was gut-wrenching. It was the carcass of a giant python, which had been rotting away for God knows how many days. The carcass was infested with maggots, and the residents called it disgusting. Imagine if it had only been roaming around while alive. Phew, close shave. Thank you very much for watching the video. Do like and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again, E.